FOMO, no fear, subscribe, stay sharp, and don't smoke the stinky socks. Don't smoke the stinky socks.
Heaven's sakes, don't smoke your socks. Bought some Bitcoin late at night. Woke up rich, that ain't right. Checked again, never mind. Broke as hell, see that line? Maybe risky, maybe wild, but so is betting on Uncle Clyde. Do your research, read your blogs. For heaven's sakes, don't smoke your socks.
Don't smoke your socks.
1, 2, test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Everybody hit that like.
No FOMO, no fear. Subscribe, stay sharp. Don't smoke those stinky socks.
All right, legends, welcome to another live stream. Let me just do this. There we go. Right, now the question, legends, are we going to break here to the upside as per the thumbnail? Yeah, you know what I don't like, legends, is every time I post a bearish thumbnail, we pump to the upside. Every time I post a bullish thumbnail, we drop to the downside. And I was hoping for this price to smash out here, right? And it got rejected again here by the trend. Little triangle that we're forming over here, bullish triangle. Maybe it's going to break to the downside, tap the trend to perfection, and now we're getting a rejection to the downside. I am currently in a long trade. I've already taken a little bit of profits here to the upside, but I was hoping for this little bit of the squeeze out here, right? Here to the upside. And maybe because I posted the bullish thumbnail, we're going to absolutely just tank here to the downside, Who knows, legends? But welcome to another live stream. Remember to smash up that like button. If you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? The exchanges also that I use, links are always down in the description, where you get the best deals that these exchanges has to offer. Right, if you go and Google it, you're not going to get the amazing discount on trading fees, and you're also not going to get 20% discount or 20% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account. And with Bluffin, the more you trade, the more money gets airdropped into your account. Right, all you need is an email and a password, and you can come and trade with me on these amazing exchanges. Legends, we need to talk about what happened last night, right? Because this is where I ended the live stream. Do you all remember? Yesterday when we did a live trade together? Okay, we had the trend-based FIP. Well, I remember it like it was yesterday. Maybe because it was yesterday, right? We played the swing failure pattern from the 786. And it looked scary. This little drop here to the downside looked so scary. Right, we back tested the trend, right, the 786, and we got the breakout. I had an alarm over here, right, on this trend, and we got the breakout. So if you did miss this long opportunity over there, well, there was another way to get into this trade. And do I still have that resistance box? Yes, I said, legends, definitely for me, this is a profit taking area, right? And we even went a little bit higher, but this is where I closed the position. In actual fact, guys, I have to admit, I got stopped out of this trade right over there. That is where I got stopped out. But, I re-entered, okay, with my stop below the low. Price moved up, I closed my position, and I went to bed. Right, it was late here in South Africa already. I went to bed and relaxed for the night. I didn't care about higher levels and leaving some position open. I just wanted to get in, get out, right, have a successful trade. And that is exactly what transpired. I also got a lot of screenshots of people showing me their P&Ls and saying, Dewald, we got into the same trade, right? We left our stop losses below the low. Remember, guys, the pros and the cons that I've shared yesterday about leaving your stop loss versus protecting your position, okay? And right, so if you left your stop loss where you're supposed to leave your stop loss, you would have benefited from this entire momentum yet to the upside, right? Almost claiming the high, but not just yet. Now it looks like it's building a little bit of a triangle situation over here. Okay, right, legends. So beautiful trade that we got into yesterday that played out, and that was just applying your trading strategy. Okay, in actual fact, guys, I mean, look at this, right? Another break of trend. Okay, there was another break of trend over here, breaking up, right? You start taking profits when you hit resistance. And now I'm in another long trade. I've taken a little bit of profits, but I'm hoping for the punch here to the upside. So I don't mind getting stopped out with a little bit of profit, but I'm hoping for the punch out over here, right, legends? This was the structure that I also discussed this morning with the Legends Pro community. And you might be asking, well, how did you get into the long? Did you play the breakout? No, I didn't play the breakout, right? This morning when I did the update to the Legends Pro community, price was over here, right? And then what I did is I said, legends, I think there's only one way. If we're speculating on a nice little breakout to the upside to go to $96,000, and this is the structure that's going to take us there, right? How do we get in? Okay, for me, the best way to get in was to take a fib retracement from the low to the highs that we've created this morning. And I told the legends, well, I'm going to use the Fibonacci lines as swing failure lines. That's how I'm going to get in, because that's the way that I can get in with exceptionally good risk management. And we literally tapped the 382 to perfection. I entered round about this zone. I didn't nail it like a sniper this time, but my position is now protected. I took profits when we claimed the highs, a little bit of profit. Okay, a little bit of profit here by the high, but let's see if this now can hold as support. Right, let's see if this can hold as support and give us the punch out to the upside. I don't want to lose out on this potential trading opportunity that could play out over here, right? So that I don't have to play the breakout, right? I want a better entry. My entry is now over here. So if I can have an entry lower down and I don't have to stress and worry about playing the breakout over here, right? Then all I need to do is take profits to the upside. Okay, but you know, legends, I mean, the market is here to surprise us. It can also fall to the downside. So now when I look on the 15-minute time frame, you can see we're building this little bit of this triangle structure over here. Okay, I can even take these trends here out the way. We don't need them anymore. Right, we have that profit taking area is now providing nice little support. So this is now green. I like to make my support green. Okay, right, legends. So yesterday when I told everyone I'm considering this a profit taking area because it was resistance, we broke out and we flipped it into support, right? It held a support, got another bounce. It held a support. Now we're getting another bounce. So this level is proving to be now nice support after we got the breakout yesterday here to the upside, right? And it's holding quite nicely. Okay, so legends, now the question is, are we going to break up to the 96,400 zone where we do have a daily level, we have a weekly level, right? Quite an obvious area of resistance here to the upside. So this little scalp trade that I'm in at the moment, definitely a profit taking area for me over here, right? I'm just looking to benefit from this momentum here to the upside. Maybe I'll leave a small little moon bag open because I do think there's a chance we can even come and hit $98,000, right? So, but majority of my profits will be taken in this zone over here because I like to pay myself when you start hitting resistance if you are in a long position. Okay, so currently at the moment, just talking about longs here to the upside. Okay, let's just putting my bullish hat on over here, legends. Okay, for now, I'm focusing on the longs. I am in a long position over here. There's a chance, there's an ever so slight chance that this could break out and continue momentum here to the upside. So you could potentially attempt a breakout over there, put your stop below the low and target this little zone over here, right? Leave a little bit of a moon bag open for $98,000 200 zone. So if I entertain the bullish case scenario, we'll talk about the bearish case scenario in a moment, okay, is that the signs from a bullish perspective, okay, is as follow. If I take, just want to see if I shouldn't maybe use the 30-minute, okay, I want to make the candles nice and thick so everyone can see. Right, okay, let's do this. When I take a fib retracement from this little pivot that we created over there to the low, right, you can see that we have tapped the 0.88 twice already, multiple times. We tapped it, we rejected, okay, we tapped it again and we rejected. Also, when you take a fib from this pivot to the low, we also claimed the 0.88 on this fib retracement. Also, okay, when you take, so let me show you guys. So whoops, what did I do? Undo. Right. Okay, so first thing to note is that on the major fib from the high to the low, we claimed the 0.88 twice. Then when I clean this up, okay, I want to show everyone in detail. It's a game of probabilities. I trade probabilities at the end of the day as a technical trader. When I take a fib from this high to the low, we have tapped the 0.88 again. Okay, again, take this out the way. When I take a fib from, from this high to the low, we tap the 0.88 again. Okay, what point am I trying to make by all these 0.88 taps? Well, when you tap a 0.88 multiple times, like we've done just now, it does increase the probability that you're going to come and claim this high. And all of this is a corrective structure. It's not an impulsive structure to the downside, right? So it's not to say that price can't still fall to the downside. It means that it's still correcting, and it could still correct to the downside and then go and claim the high, or it just claims it from where it is right now. But the probabilities, because of all these 0.88 taps in this zone, is now higher to come and claim this high and even jump here to $96,000 than to claim the lows of the entire structure that started over here. So, right, legends, these are just the probabilities that I use from a trading perspective. I like all the 0.88 taps. It now gives a little bit more ticks in the bullish boxes in terms of maybe it's better to look for longs. Okay, if price does fall to the downside, now I'm putting on my bearish cap, right? So price falls to the downside, I get stopped out of my trade, don't care, right? I get stopped out of my trade and it loses the triangle, okay? That could be the potential fake out. I will consider a swing failure from this low for potential long. Okay, by the way, shorting the top of the trend is also not a bad idea. That also presented a short little opportunity. You tap the trend, you short, you put your stop above the high, price moves in your favor, now your position is protected. So if you wanted to jump into the short, okay, this is where you should have jumped into the short, the tap of the trend. Okay, right. Anyways, I will still be looking, because of the probabilities of taking the high, because of all the 0.88 taps, right? If price had to move here to the downside, maybe it finds diagonal support on the trend and it swing failures from the low. Little bit of a fake out and it gets acceptance back above. I will consider a swing failure from the low as well. Okay, because of how beautifully this support and resistance has been respected. You could dip below, scare everyone out, breakout traders to the downside are going to enter their short positions, and you have the fake out to the downside and then the real breakout here to the upside. Right, and then obviously this daily and weekly point of control. The weekly point of control is old, but this is an actual fact a fresh daily level. Let me just take this out the way. This is a fresh daily level. So if the fake out is a little bit deeper to the downside, I will consider a swing failure from the daily level that was created at $93,697. I still get the question a lot, Dewald, how do you get your daily level? So just quickly to show everyone that it is a valid daily level, you have an open and a close on the daily time frame at exactly the same level. What I like to do is I like to snap on these levels with a magnet. Okay. This is where I get this daily level from. So if price does decide to little bit claw back down here and I see the wick left behind, okay, that to me will be a long trigger. Right, let's go back here onto the 15-minute time frame. Ah man, it would be a pity if we don't just break out from here right now. So legends, I mean, from a structural perspective, you know, I had a long conversation with the Legends Pro community this morning. Okay, so let me start on the 1 hour time frame. Right, Legends, let me do this. Let me start here on the 1 hour time frame and look at this structure that we have formed here at the moment. Right, those levels to the downside also line up with liquidity. Yes, it does. Okay, I will go and have a look at the liquidity at the moment. Thanks, Alex. I think that correction will end tomorrow. We'll see. Okay, it's either going to break out now, it's going to break out tomorrow, or it's still going to continue sideways. But this is now the point that I'm trying to make over here, Legends, is that this structure, okay, can be counted in so many ways. So on the 1 hour time frame, is this an ABC that's done? Is it still going to make one more high and then fall? Is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Or maybe this is still a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Is this a WXY? There are so many ways in which you can count the structure. I see still there are people counting this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And now we are going down for a larger corrective structure, and then we're going to push back to the upside, right? Play the break of trend, whatever the case might be. Then also, when you look at this corrective structure, when I go onto the 15-minute time frame, okay, and this is the conversation I had this morning with the Legends Pro community, is that there are some people counting this as an ABC. This is A, B, C, done, right? Then there are people counting this as a WXY, a WXY. Okay, then there are people saying, okay, well, maybe we're going to form a larger corrective structure. So if this is an ABC, what do you get in an ABC? You get a W. So maybe this is going to form a larger WXY structure in the form of a WXY. Okay, let me make that bigger. Let's make it minor, put on the line. Right, we could still form a much longer corrective structure. So it looks like, for now, it looks like the correction came to an end over here. Okay, where this could have been an ABC and a running flat, which is rare. So for me, it does count better as a WXY, but it doesn't matter whether you count this as an ABC or whether you count this as a WXY. It doesn't matter. It's the same result. Okay, I see people arguing on some of the communities about whether this is an ABC or a WXY. I don't care whether it's an ABC or a WXY. It's a three-wave corrective structure. That's all that matters, right? Okay, what is significant though is that if this is a ABC that ended over here, it can form a larger W. This entire structure is then a W. This little triangle is a X, and you could still make another zigzag in a Y wave. So you're basically still extending the corrective structure. And this can last until Friday. Okay. Which makes sense because on Fridays, Friday evenings, just before the market closes, we usually get those volatile moves. Legends, this corrective structure could literally still continue. Okay. It is very common. I just have to say it, it is very common to create, okay, I just want to clean this up so it doesn't look so confusing. It's very common to create a X wave with a triangle. Very common. B waves and X waves loves triangles. So if this is a zigzag or an ABC and a W, you could have a triangle in an X wave, and you can then have another zigzag in a Y wave, right? So your corrective structure could still continue up until Friday. But legends, the 1 hour time frame, now the 15-minute time frame, is the correction done? Is it a W? I don't care, right? This is the point that I'm trying to make. Guys, I don't care, because I can also count bullish structures inside of here. What if this corrective structure is not going to continue? What if it ended over here? What if the corrective structure ended over here, and this is a 1 2 1 2, and is now going to pop out here 3 4 5 4 5? Okay, this structure looks terribly 3-wavy. This structure also looks terribly 3-wavy here to the upside. But you can also count 5 waves in those structures, so it's not easy. The point that I'm trying to make over here is I can apply my trading strategy like we did last night, okay, and I can trade. I don't care what structure we are in. I don't care if it's a W, I don't care if it's an X. I don't care what type of structure we are forming here, whether the corrective structure is still going to continue up until Friday, whether it's going to pop out over here, maybe it's just going to fall down here in a harsh zigzag to the downside. But what I can tell you guys is, if price falls to the downside before claiming this high, there's a high chance that this is still part of this entire corrective structure, and we're still going to go and claim the high. Right. It has to be said, just a game of probabilities. When I take a fib from the high over here to the low, and when you look at a W, X, Y, okay, the probabilities does decrease for a Y wave to take the low of W because of how deep the retracement went. Usually when you have a large 3-wave structure in a WXY and the Y wave claims the low of W, this retracement should have rejected by the golden pocket or the 50%. It went a little bit high, and this is now starting to reduce the probabilities of having another zigzag to the downside, but it's still a possibility. Okay, it just impacts the probabilities. From a probability perspective, is you don't want your X wave to come up this high. It needed to reject at a maximum target of the golden pocket. Even when you tap the 786, it decreases the probabilities of claiming the low. Right, so you could still have a more sideways Y wave. You could now build another triangle. Okay, you can build another triangle, right? And then break out in a Y wave. Or you could what is the other one? You could claim the high, claim the low in a flat, and then break out. But I mean, then your Y wave, guys, but the point that I'm trying to make over here is we can speculate on so many Elliott Wave scenarios. It's absolutely crazy, right? But what I can tell you guys is, let me clean this up. I am struggling to count impulses to the downside, because if this is the top, this is a 5th wave, we are now gonna fall and go back to, what is it, $83,000, $84,000. There is no impulses that I can see here to the downside. Okay, it's not an impulsive structure. And if this is forming a 1 and this is a 2, and now people are saying we're going to form a 3, 4, 5 here to the downside, for a wave 2 to retrace 3 times to the 0.88 is very rare. This structure also to the downside looks beautiful, way prettier as a 3-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, zigzag. It's very difficult to count 5 waves inside of this structure unless you use an expanding structure, which is rare, never preferred unless all other scenarios failed. Well, all other scenarios have not failed yet. Okay, so to create impulses from this high to the downside, okay, is very unlikely. It's not invalidated, but it's very unlikely because this needs to be your 1, this needs to be your 2, and now you need to create a 3, 4, 5 to the downside. Also, your second wave is not allowed to be a triangle. It's not allowed to, which tells me this is still part of a corrective structure. It's not an impulsive structure to the downside. So I like to use Elliott Wave theory to see that, well, when I look at this pivot, is there still a chance to come and claim this pivot? Are we building impulses to the downside, or is all of this still corrective? And for now, based on all of this price action that we formed over here, okay, it's corrective. Very complex, overlappy, choppy, okay, it's still part of a corrective structure. Oh man, am I going to be stopped out of my trade? What is CVD doing over here? Right, we do have some bearish CVD on yellow, but we have bullish CVD on blue, so a little bit of a mix over here at the moment. Anyways, legends, okay, now this is the structure that's most important for me at the moment. When I switch on my levels, daily levels, point of controls, okay, these are now the most important levels for me. So when I look at this structure, okay, I want to get this whole structure in here from this little low over here. I want to look at this structure to the high. Okay, if this is going to form now a B, C, so this is your W, this is your X that now completed over here, just playing this out, and let's say it forms a zigzag here to the downside. Still very interested in a long position over there. Hopefully it's also going to form a nice little trend where you can play the breakout. Okay, and because this entire structure still looks awfully corrective, okay, there's still a high chance to come and claim this high before the whole structure starts correcting itself. Okay, meaning to come and claim this low, right? I don't give this structure a high probability because of how deep the X went, but you know, we need to play out because the market is here to surprise us, right? What if this is all still part of a WXY and then we bounce here to the upside? That is the most bearish structure that I see here that is still corrective, meaning that this is all still part of a corrective structure to gear up to go and claim the high. You can even still come and tap this naked point of control at $90,682. Right, I just want to see if I take a fib here from the low to the high. This is how you build up confluences, right? One could also argue, well, maybe that was the high, which actually aligns better with, but anyways, guys, I'm just going to put it from the high to the low of the structure to keep it simple, not to create confusion. You have an order block. You have the 0.382, you have the naked point of control. Very interesting zone to look for long if price does decide to just fall, right? It just falls here to the downside. There's also trend-based fib targets, which I haven't actually looked at, so I'm quite curious to see. Well, if this, let me first mark it out. Not that one. Right, let's mark it out. So W, X, Y. Okay, now we can go and measure it out from a trend-based fib perspective, from the high of W to the low of W to the high of X. Yeah, guys, I don't know if it's going to fall this far, right? Because if I measure this out, then your Y wave is not even allowed to tap the 1.618. It has to form, the maximum target for your Y wave is the 1.382. So definitely what I will consider is a swing failure pattern from the lows. Right, 1.236, 1.382. So that is also a very interesting target for me, which makes sense because of how deep the X wave retraced. Okay, so definitely an area that I will be paying attention to. The swing failure from these lows. And then, right, and because the X, you guys must remember, because the X wave retraced so deep, tapping the 0.88, okay, Y wave does not have to claim the lows. And this is why I'm considering even the daily level, and I'm considering even finding support here inside of my support box. Right, so not easy, legends, but it's about observing the price reaction when you hit those levels. Can you enter with good risk management? Because you could get something like this. It forms a small little zigzag. A, B, C, and it shoots here to the upside. Right. A, B. Oof, maybe this is another scenario. It's just corrective structures, very complex. Okay. Yeah, I think if you count it as an ABC, right, then you can hit these targets. Definitely you can hit these targets, because a B wave can also end in a triangle. An X wave and a B wave can end in a triangle, but they are both three-wave structures. The only difference is C wave can go deeper, can claim the low, no problemo, right, where this area still becomes interesting to me. So still a significant area at $91,000 where I'll be looking for long if price does decide to just fall here, right? Interesting zone that I'll be paying attention to. More locally, inside of this mini structure that we're forming over here, okay, let's see. It's either going to create, by some miracle maybe, you know, I stay inside of my trade, it forms a higher low and it pops out, right? I've explained that scenario. Then, can it still find support over here? I will consider a swing failure pattern from these lows. But remember, guys, it's about, I'm going to watch the price. I'm going to see how it reacts. I'm not going to long if price is below my area of interest. No long for me. Okay, then I'm going to look at the daily level. Okay, still no long. It keeps on trading below the level. Then I'm going to look at this pivot over here, right? Still no long. Price needs to trade above my level for me to turn bullish. I need to be able to enter with good risk management. That is my requirement from a trading perspective. Right, legends. I think there's not much else to say over here except for the 4-hour time frame. Something that I want to highlight on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so let's just clean up the chart ever so slightly. Right, legends, I have a little bit of a concern. Okay, when you take, because I see everyone's now talking about this, when you take a trend-based FIP retracement from the high to the low of this structure, okay, you can also see how beautifully those two resistance boxes that I have over here aligns with these golden pocket levels, 0.618, 0.66. Okay, my concern with this zone at the moment is that everyone is talking about it. It's all over social media. When I look at other people's live streams, everyone is talking about this little resistance zone. Okay, what I don't like about too many people keeping an eye, I'm going to short the crap out of this. Okay, that's now the thinking. That's now the mentality. Oh, I can't wait for that high to be claimed so I can just go 100x, 50x, right? This bad boy here to the downside. I have seen many times when a lot of people are looking at a specific zone, you either front run it or you smash it. You scare the shit out of everyone that tried to catch long or shorts in this area, and they're like, oh shit, what happened? Right? Maybe you even go and tap the 0.786 and then it falls over. You go and liquidate those 100x positions that people have there ready with limit orders. Okay? So I just want to raise a little bit of a concern over here is I know it is a massive area of resistance. I know it. Technically, I can see it. Okay, there's no arguing against it, right? You also have the point of control. Look at that. Point of control in confluence, high volume node, tough nut to crack. Everyone is looking at the zone for potential rejection. And what if it doesn't reject in that zone? What if it just smashes through? like a hot knife through butter, and then it rejects at the value area high in confluence with a 786. I like to look at levels that no one else is anticipating. Okay, yes, I will definitely consider a short in this zone with my daily levels, my weekly levels. Okay, I have my levels marked out. Here we go, right? Daily levels, weekly levels, point of controls. You guys can see my levels are already marked out. I have all of them, right? It looks like an absolute spaghetti mess over here. Okay, if I zoom in here, you can see I have all my levels marked out, and I will be paying attention when we hit this level, right? If I get a successful swing failure pattern, price breaks down, I know where to put my stop loss. I can enter, right? Price moves in my favor, I can protect my position. I will attempt shorts, especially if I can get in with good risk management. Okay, because I think one of two things is going to happen. Because of the probabilities of this structure still leaning towards claiming the high, if it is going to reject in this zone, I think it's going to be difficult to get in. So maybe it's going to be choppy. You keep on shorting each pivot, you get stopped out. And you know, when most people start giving up, I've given up. I've been stopped out 5 times already. Not going to go anymore. Then it falls down. I think they're going to make it difficult to get in over here, or it's going to smash through. Right? Still have another interesting daily level here at $101,000. And we all know the psychological game from this $100,000 perspective. There's a chance that it could get there. Right, legends. So just a little bit of a cautionary thing that I wanted to highlight is that if you do attempt shorts based on these levels, please don't just go and smack limit orders in there. Don't put a stop loss and thinking that price is at some point, even if you're underwater, thinking that the price is at some point going to roll over, and then it gives you that smack back to the upside, liquidates your position or your portfolio. You know, some people go crazy, right? And then it gets the roll down, right? So I can attempt shorts in this zone by getting in, knowing where to put my stop loss, and if I get stopped out, I can attempt it again and again, and depending on how many times I get stopped out with a loss, I will either call it a day, or I will keep on trying if I can keep on getting break-even entries to the upside. Right, so guys, I'm not saying don't attempt shorts. Okay, it is a shorting zone. Technically, it makes sense that price is going to roll over there, right? But it concerns me that everyone is looking at this. It really concerns me, because when I've seen this before, an obvious area, golden pocket, volume, naked point of control, right, where the most amount of volume was traded, when I've seen this in the past where everyone is talking about that level, it either front runs it and it falls down before it can hit the level. They make it very difficult to get in. It gets very choppy and messy, like it's getting over here, or it scares the shit out of everyone. Now, the shit out of everyone scenario, that sounds so bad, okay, is the one that I've seen play out the most often. Right, legends. Now, the question is, if I go onto the smaller time frames, what are the possibility of price reaching higher levels, even $100,000? Okay, well, I have to work with the price action that I have at the moment. Okay, we've gone through the corrective structures. There's a chance that it could still fall down over here. Maybe it SFPs from the lows. Who knows? Okay, but based on the price action that I have available now, if this starts breaking to the upside, okay, is there a chance to come and reach higher levels to the upside? Okay, so if I take a trend-based fib from the low to the high of this wave, 1 2 1 2, okay, because this could be 1 2 1 2 and it pops, right? Because this is the structure I have available to me right now, and I drag it across. Okay. if this is going to form a 1 2 1 2 and is now going to pop out in a third wave where this now becomes 1 2 3, okay, most common third wave target is at $98,037, 1.618 in confluence with a naked point of control and the daily level a little bit higher up. But now you have to remember, this is 3, okay, it needs another wave. So if this is 1 2 1 2, you expect a 3 4 5 4 5 to the upside that could take you to the value area high. Can you see how choppy it could potentially get based on this structure? That is if it does break to the upside. So based on this structure, it has the legs to get to the value area high and the 786 to the upside. $100,000. Just something to keep in mind, right? But then price needs to break to the upside without losing the low. Okay. If price is going to lose this low, this is the most important low for this structure to remain bullish. And the reason this low is so important, because if you're forming a 1 2 and this is another 1 and this could be part of a 2, it's not allowed to take this low. The structure has to remain bullish. It still has to create a higher low to break out in order to create the 3, the 4 5 4 5 to the upside. If price falls to the downside, taps the daily, claims the low, right, no more double 1 2, then it needs to build a bullish structure from a different level. Okay, right, but all I was trying to figure out is, based on the price action that I have available to me today, is there a chance to come and hit higher levels at $100,000? And yes, this structure does have the potential to scare the shit out of everyone. Okay, sorry for the cursing, but that's basically the conclusion that I'm trying to figure out over here, is that if everyone is watching this zone and they have limit orders stacked, right, they are going to short the crap out of this level. Okay, this will scare the crap out of them, and this structure has the potential to get here. Purely from a Fib trace perspective, Fib extension perspective. Right, legends, let me go through some comments, say hi to the community, and also hear your thoughts. What are your thinking process? Okay, do you think we're going to break out? Do you think we are going to smack back down? Very interested to know your thoughts here as well. Okay, let's go. Looks like so much ending diagonal with fifth wave extended. Ending diagonal? Yeah, I did think about an ending diagonal. Okay, if this is an ending diagonal, and now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe is that what you mean? Or maybe just 5 here to the upside. The problem with an ending diagonal is that this did not take the high. Okay, when you have an ending diagonal to the upside, it has to take the highs, each high, right? 1, 2, 3 has to take the high of 1. 5 has to take the high of 3. So it does not look like an ending diagonal, well, based on the time frame that I'm looking at over here. So maybe you're seeing an ending diagonal on a different time frame. Let me just go make sure. Let me just clean up the chart over here, legends. It looks like an absolute mess. Okay. Right, I see what you mean. So maybe you're talking about this little bad boy over here, right? What if this was the end of the corrective structure and it's going to do this? It can do this to the upside. That's a possibility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a possibility. It can do that. That's an ending diagonal. Ending diagonal has to have 5 wave structures inside of each structure. And this, yeah, right. We'll see how this unfolds, legends. I mean, unfortunately, no one knows, right? Is it going to be an ending diagonal? Is it going to be a double 1, 2 to the upside? Is it even going to form a triple 1-2? Okay, it can even form a triple 1-2. I have seen a lot of triple 1-2s play out as well. Okay, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. It still creates a higher low, doesn't claim the high. Now you have a triple 1-2, and it just woof, it slices. Okay, the more 1-2s you have at the bottom, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, the harder it pumps to the upside, the more aggressive the wave to the upside. Okay, because now remember, you have 3 1-2s, now you need 3 4-5s to the upside. So if you have 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3 4 5 4 5 4 5, you need the 3 peaks to the upside as well. So the structure has the potential to get here, right? You have the grind at the bottom, you have the grind at the top, and then it rolls over and it starts correcting. Okay, cool, legends. That is basically what I wanted to discuss here on 1 hour 15 minute. We've gone through 5 minute, we've gone through the 4-hour time frame. We know where the resistance lies to the upside. Okay, now the question is, what is going to play out? Okay, we don't know, but this is why we can enter trades with good risk management. I just want to see if I'm still in that trade. Haven't been stopped. No, haven't been stopped out. Have not been stopped out, and we're getting the bounce here to the upside. So let's go back here onto the 5-minute time frame. Okay, this is the long trade that I'm speculating on now. I could be completely wrong, but at least I'm wrong and I don't take a loss. That is what's important to me personally as a day trader. If I'm wrong, how little money can I lose? Okay, and can I enter my next trade with good risk management? Right, so I have an entry right over here. This is where I entered. My position is protected. In fact, my stop loss is slightly above my entry. So if I get stopped out, it covers my fees as well. So I literally lose nothing. Okay, and I've already taken a little bit of profits when we hit the highs over here, 10%. Because, you know, I'm speculating on a little bit of a breakout here to the upside. If I'm wrong, I lose nothing. If I'm right, okay, I have an amazing entry and I don't have to worry about this breakout. Let it go. Let it go. Okay, and I will start taking profits there by $96,000 at the resistance areas that we've just identified to the upside. Okay. Cool. Right, let me go through some more comments. As in, after the double or triple 1-2s, how often, how often does the 3 4 5s happen? It's not as common as the double 1-2s. Double 1-2s play out a lot. If I go here onto the 4-hour time frame, Demorse 91, I can show you a couple of examples. In the structure, we have examples of double 1-2s. So let me clean this up. Okay, I remember during this consolidation, beautiful, beautiful double 1-2s. Okay, look at this one. 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5. Double 1-2s are very common. You also get triple 1-2s. Okay, I think this was a triple 1-2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5. Think, you know, I'm just roughly counting it over here. I need to zoom into the smaller time frames, do the proper counts, but I think this was a triple 1-2 to the upside, if I can remember correctly. But then also this entire structure over here, look at this. Okay, 1 2 1 2 1 2, triple 1-2. Okay, and then you have your 3 4 5 4 5 4 5 here to the upside, triple top. Okay, triple triple. Right, so triple 1-2s and double 1-2s do play out often, but the most common structure from a double structural perspective is a double 1-2. But I do see a lot of triple 1-2s as well. But a 4 1-2s, they are rare, legends. When a structure starts turning into 1-2 1-2 1-2 1-2, I mean, how many 1-2s can you get, right? When it starts going into the fourth 1-2, I'm like, no, I don't think this is something else. Okay, this is something else, right? Let's go through some more. Do they normally happen in corrective patterns? Double 1-2s, triple 1-2s. It's usually when momentum is starting back in a certain direction. Okay, the impulses. Right, so in your impulsive waves, this is a wave to the upside. You all agree this is a corrective structure. So you could say this is your wave here to the upside, corrective. Wave to the upside, corrective. Okay, so in your impulsive waves, you need to see an impulsive structure. It can be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could also be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. But your impulsive waves, you has the double 1-2s or the triple 1-2s inside of them. Okay, triple 1-2s and double 1-2s are not part of corrective structures unless the corrective structure has come to an end. If the corrective structure has come to an end, let's say it came to an end over here, and now you're starting to see 1, 2, 1, 2, that could now be the start of the impulse to the upside to go and complete your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each impulse has to have 5 waves, or triple 1-2s or double 1-2s, doesn't matter, or diagonals. Okay, thanks for the example. Absolute pleasure. I am not a FA trader, but with so much bullish news around BTC and FOMC next week, I'm short-term bearish. Right, and if you are bearish, right, I'm sure you are looking for shorting opportunities. And I think the most recent shorting opportunity, and I was actually a little bit upset with myself, for lack of a better word. Okay, I took profits. I'm in a long, yeah, right. I took profits at the highs, leaving some of the position open for higher levels. But when I saw us tap the trend, right, that was a beautiful shorting opportunity. So if you are bearish and you believe price is going to fall to the downside, where are you shorting from? Where's your risk management? Where do you plan to take profits? Because that, my friends, was a beautiful shorting opportunity. Tap the trend to perfection. You put your stop above the high, price moves in your favor, you now have a free trade to the downside. Pay yourself when you start hitting support. You're now going to hit support here, right? And I'm going to get stopped out now, right? This is support. This is support. You have a daily level a little bit further down, right? So if you're a little bit bearish and you believe price is going to roll over and not claim the highs again, well, I'm sure that you are looking for shorting opportunities. No. Only up. Everyone expect to buy more for lower prices, but that will not happen. Milos, very bullish news there indeed. That's the question, right? Guys, I mean, I don't want to talk about the structure because by no stretch of the imagination, Milos, this structure is especially for you. Okay? It's just for you, right? The most insane bullish case scenario that no one is talking about. I don't see it anywhere on social media because it carries such low probability, but it still carries a probability. Is what if this entire structure is a double 1-2? Because if price is not going to come down lower, and this is the start of a massive momentum wave to the upside that's going to take us to $130,000. If, okay, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying that this is the structure that's going to play out. It has a low probability of playing out. Okay, you have the fib from the low to the high. You have a very shallow retracement at the 0.236. Right? It has to be acknowledged. Very rare for a 5-wave structure and a retracement that went this shallow. But it's not an invalidation. And again, you have from this pivot to the highs, again, a very, very shallow retracement at exactly the same level, 0.236. And I can't help but wonder, what if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2? It's just going to fly. Right, it's just going to absolutely fly. I mean, it can go down deeper, but this could also form a double 1-2, and then it rock and rolls here in a third wave that goes to claim even the all-time high. Okay, just want to stress, legends, for me the scenario does not have high probability, but it is something that can play out. Okay, so Milos, this one is for you. If you believe we're not going down lower, maybe we even come and tap the 0.382, right? Maybe it finds strength in the zone, but there is a scenario where this could be a double 1-2 and it explodes in a third wave. Very rare for a second wave and a second wave, so 1 2 1 2, to only tap the 0.236. It is said in Elliott Wave theory that if the structure is incredibly bullish, especially when you are still in a bull market, it is possible. I think this is a move. If this had to play out, this is a move that no one will expect. No one will expect a move like this. Can you guys imagine, right? I'm not saying it's going to play out, but can you imagine price does this? It goes and it claims the all-time high. And everyone is like, fuck, it didn't reject anywhere. We had so much resistance to the upside. It just flew like a damn rocket. Can you imagine how bullish the world will turn when this happens? The unexpected, I think it will most probably be the most hated run here to the upside, right? Because everyone is looking to short in this zone and it just slices through in a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 to the upside. It goes and it claims $25,000, and maybe then we start the bear market. I don't know, legends. Not a high probable scenario, but it is on the cards. Okay. Right, let me go through some more comments. You are a legend. You guys are the legends here inside of the live stream. Remember to smash up that like button for the education, for the alpha, right? Also, guys, remember, if you'd like to come and trade with me, the links that the exchanges that I use, okay, are always down in the description. We have organized you the best deals. 20% cash back. Okay, you deposit $1,000, for example, you get $200 back free to trade with. 25% discount on your trading fees, and then I've got Bluffin here as well. Some people don't like weeks. Okay, well, there's an alternative for you. Some people don't like Bluffin. Well, there's an alternative for you. Both of these exchanges don't require verification. So you can start trading in minutes and do some features or leverage trading. Right, and I've organized you guys the best deals with the links down in the description for the community. Okay. Thank you, Dewald. Absolute pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure. Let's go through some more. Hi, Dewald. Ali Podcast, welcome to the live stream, man. Also, thanks for the example. Okay, at least we would touch the 94k sub again now before we would see next move. 94k sub before we see the next move. At least we would touch. Yes, I mean, that is if we do fall here to the downside, right? But you guys can see, you know, just normal basic technical analysis. If I take a fib from this low, okay, maybe I should just put it there properly, to the high, to the highest point of the structure, you can see that after this impulse to the upside, there is still a lot of breathing room for the structure to still make a higher low in this zone before claiming the low. So whatever is going to happen here, even if it comes down to $86,500, it is still bullish because this is your maximum bullish target. This structure can still do this, right? And then bounce and just continue here to the upside. Okay, so for people saying that, no, this is the end, it's just going to fall. Okay, there's a lot that needs to happen before that can happen. Yes, it could happen, but there's a lot of trading opportunities inside of this zone, right? Before we just kind of fall here to the downside. Right. I mean, I can take you guys through the macro scenarios. There are so many scenarios here on the macro time frame. I just want to see here on the 8-hour. I want to see if I have those scenarios saved up. Okay. The scenarios that carries the highest probabilities. Oh, there's the scenario that takes us to 100k. Here is the. Here's another bearish case scenario. Okay. All of this to the downside was a A. This is a 3-wave structure in a C. You go down to create an X, you make another 3-wave structure to the upside in a Y to complete your B wave. Then all shit breaks out, okay, and you go down on a 5-wave structure to go and complete your C wave that can take you all the way down to $54,000 to $62,000. Still a possibility, but at least it's still corrective. So you still expect the highs to be claimed. Okay, so it's not over yet, and this scenario has not been invalidated. So there's a chance, if you believe the high is in, so maybe we play the front running scenario over here. We've created the 3-wave structure here to the downside. We fall, we find support, create the X wave, you go back up in a 3-wave structure to create a Y wave, which then completes your B. You can still go down in a 5-wave structure to complete your C wave. A, B, C. Okay, so there are still some bearish case scenarios that has not been invalidated. Although I've shown you guys the extreme bullish case scenario, the extreme bullish case scenario is stuff the ABC. With this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. We're just going to rock it here to the upside. The low is in, right? It invalidates this ABC scenario. I think there was also a WXY scenario that I was talking about. Okay, but I think I need to adjust this channel. Right, I want to make sure that I have this channel exactly where it needs to be. Right, there we go. Okay, what is interesting about this parallel channel, guys, is that we could also just be forming a WXY. You have a WX, that is where we can reject at the moment. Also the top of the channel, right? And then you form a Y to the downside that comes to claim the lows. But it's a 3-wave structure to the downside. It also takes you down to $61,000. These scenarios, unfortunately, has not been invalidated. Right, and quite interestingly, you can see where, I just want to take the channel out the way so we can see what is cooking over there. Right, let's do this. If I zoom into this little structure, look at where price is struggling at the moment. Okay, look at this ABC, the orange one. A, B, and this was a C wave to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still expecting that, you know, that one more push to complete your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside of your C wave. Okay, that's why I'm still expecting the high to be claimed one more time. But if I take a trend-based fib from the low of A to the high of A to the low of B, look at where we are, 1.618. This is where price is struggling at the moment. It makes you think, what if all of this is a W, X, Y? Then the correction is done and the bull market continues. Right, so we're not out the woods just as yet, legends. This scenario has not been invalidated. Here's the invalidation for the scenario. It has to tap $101,000, 313. Then this scenario is in the bin. I throw it away. No more bearish case scenario over here. Okay, from a WXY perspective. Right, cool. What else? 0.786, it's an interesting point thing. Yes, the 0.786 is a very interesting point. And why is the 0.786 so interesting to me? Because even when I look at this corrective structure, if you take a fib from the high to the low of W over here, okay, and I drag it, to the lows of the structure, and I drag it across, I just want to make sure that I'm on the right scale. Regular, it's at the lows. Okay, so this level actually needs to be a little bit higher, right over there. Okay, so when you have a WXY structure, a WXY structure, the X has to reject inside of the golden pocket, maximum target. Because if you have a WX structure that taps the 0.786, it significantly reduces the probabilities of claiming the low. So it has to tap the invalidation over here, right? Then at least we can throw the scenario in the bin. Or maybe you could still have a Y wave, but that does not claim the low, and then we continue. But I mean, that is a bullish structure, right? 1, 2, 3, and you just continue to the upside. So unfortunately, these scenarios have not been invalidated. So the 786 here on the 8-hour time frame, very, very important level, right? It would be absolutely fantastic if this structure can find the strength to actually go and punch that level and then reject. Right? Invalidates the WXY, and then we only have to contend with the ABC. Okay, because a good technical analyst will always have a bullish and a bearish case scenario. Always, 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 always. Right, but legends, for me, it's about trading here on the 15-minute, 1-hour time frame. Okay, it's about getting into high probable trades. Yes, I got stopped out of that trade, but at least I didn't lose any money, so doesn't really matter. And now the most important levels for me to keep an eye on is... Okay. The most important areas for me is a swing failure from this low, the daily level, and a swing failure from this low over here. You know, so based on where price is at the moment, these are the areas that I'm looking at. There's levels a little bit further down, but I mean, there's a lot that needs to happen before price can actually get there. Right, and then to the upside, we have those levels as well. Okay, and this box, support box, has been proven support throughout this entire range over here. And this is yesterday where we played the long. But you know, you guys remember the long that we played over here. I took profits. Okay, went to bed, and a lot of people were happy sending me screenshots of their P&Ls, okay, especially the ones that left their stop losses below the low. I did explain the pros and the cons to each scenario. I jumped back into the trade based on the trend that broke here on the 5-minute time frame. Okay, do I still have it here? Well, there was another one, by the way, FYI. And right, I think I had it over here. That was the breakout that I played. So I got stopped out. I entered, I protected my position, and it literally stopped me out and it bounced. And when it broke, I re-entered. Okay, and I took profits over there. Went to bed. Right, while I was sleeping, nice little breakout. Stop below the low, take profits by the high. Beautiful, played out to perfection. And then again, nice little beautiful trend over here. So, you know, guys, and I think that's the beauty about day trading for me, is that we can all here speculate on the bearish case scenario, the ABC, the WXY. Are we going to $130,000? Are we going to still fall down to $50,000? I can trade the shit out of these structures. And while everyone is twiddling their thumbs debating about where Bitcoin is going next, I'm making money as a trader. Okay, so also from a simplicity perspective, keep an eye on the trend, because they have been very well respected. Okay, so far so good, right? It's not always guaranteed, but I mean, look at this, legends. Breakout, claim the high. Breakout, claim the high. Breakout, almost claim the high. Okay, but now tracking this one, maybe breakout. Okay. But I think that, you know, that's also why it's important to take profits when you hit resistance, okay? You will very, very, very seldom find me playing a breakout and waiting until we claim the high before I take any profits. I always take profits, especially when you start hitting resistance areas. Okay, that is where price rejected at resistance. That is where I would have taken majority of the profits. Also, yeah, there was resistance. If I played this breakout with my stop below the low, that was a TP1, TP2 at the highs, for example. Never guaranteed, especially if you're ranging. We are in a range at the moment. The market is not trending at the moment. It's ranging at the moment. So you need to be a little bit more aggressive with profit taking. Okay, so I'm just applying my trading strategies. So it's very interesting to talk about the larger time frame. What's it going to be? Are we going to 130? Are we going to get that double 1-2 to the upside? Is it the ABC? Is it the WXY? No, we're going down to 50. I can just, I can hear people debating, right? On YouTube channels, debating with each other. No, it's going up. No, it's going down. No, it's first going down, then it's going up. No, it's first going up, then it's going down. But, at the end of the day, I actually don't care. Right, from a spot back perspective, ideally long term I want Bitcoin to go up, and but from a day trading perspective, I mean, while the people are fighting amongst themselves which structure is going to play out first, I'm making money here from a day trading perspective. I'm in, I'm out, take my profits, look for the next trading setup. Okay, Dewald, the legend deserves more likes. How many likes do we have here at the moment? Right, we have over 200 people watching the stream, 111 likes at least. It just popped up now a little bit, okay, but I do appreciate every like that you guys do share here on the live stream. What else, legends? 3 altcoins that I was looking at. I know Dylan, or one of our coaches, was looking at Fetch, okay, this morning. Very interesting way that he trades as well. He also trades breakout strategies, the same as I do, a little bit differently, but he was also looking at Fetch. And we were waiting. We were patiently waiting this morning when we saw the momentum here to the upside. Okay, we were waiting for a 1 hour candle to close above resistance. And we wanted to long this bad boy here to the upside. No trade. No body at close above. Okay, my preferred style to get into these trades is I would have played the breakout over here. That's my style of trading. Okay, and I would have taken profits when you hit resistance. So at least I would have benefited from this momentum over here. Okay, so completely different trading strategies, but both are still very profitable. I was also looking at Link. I saw some people inside of our Legends Pro community when I was talking about Link last night. I know it looks like, you know, swords here, like spaghetti lines, the way I've been tracking the momentum. Let's just take this trend out the way. I was just showing the Legends Pros something this morning, but we were looking at this yesterday, right? Do you guys remember? I said, guys, I know it's got acceptance back below the trend. I can see it, but that is a bullish bounce. If it holds the 786, it might still get a bounce to the upside, which it did. And I had this little trend that I was tracking over here. It got acceptance back above, it broke out and claimed the highs. And some of the Legends Pro community members showed their P&Ls, and you know, they actually took the Link trade here to the upside. Right, for now, based on the structure, you have to be patient. There's no trade to be taken here on Link. There's no beautiful trend line or anything like that to play here to the upside. Right, I have the safety line over here. If it bounces, okay, you have your support. You have diagonal resistance. If it comes down and it bounces, right, maybe it forms a nice little trend. Yeah, then I'll speculate on another long to the upside to go and claim the highs. Until then, no trading zone for me at the moment. Not much to say here on ETH, right? I think I have discussed this structure here with everyone on Ethereum. Right, it looks like it's forming a leading diagonal here to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fourth wave can extend, doesn't matter. That's either your 4 or the 4 is going to extend a little bit. But if ETH has any chance for this to be the low, okay, this has to be a bullish structure, a 3-wave corrective structure, find support and continue to the upside. If ETH has any chance of holding this low, it needs another high. Basically, it needs another high. If ETH is going to fall down here in a 3-wave structure, has a high chance of coming to claim the lows again. Right, what else? I reckon there's a new BTC long attempt to be made from here. Do you think so? Are we going to do a live trade together? Again? Because yesterday, it was so exciting yesterday when we took this trade together over here, okay? Yeah, and I can just see and read the emotions on the screen. I actually read through the comments yesterday after the live stream, okay? When we took this trade over here, right, and I showed everyone how I play a swing failure pattern. I'm getting in with a small position and we were pumping. Everyone was happy, like, woo, Dewald, we caught it, right? I'm in. And then when we started falling, you know, everyone started quieting down, the comments slowed down, you know, and now it's that moment of truth. Is it going to bounce? Is it going to bounce or not, right? And it did bounce, right? I got stopped out because I was too defensive with my stop loss. If you left your stop loss below the low, you would have benefited and taken profits that we've discussed last night. So it was very exciting to take this live trade together yesterday. But if I do see these types of trades again and I am live, I will definitely share with everyone, okay guys, planning to take this trade, let's get ready. Okay, hopefully you are trading with the links down in the description. Okay, it does help me as well. Right, someone asked for, can I short BTC now? Ooh. Okay, so remember what I discussed here on fetch. This is another trading strategy. So when you have resistance, you have to see a sign of strength. You have to take the high, and you ideally want a 1 hour or 15-minute body candle close above the level. Okay, so it breaks out, then you can long. You put your stop loss here below these lows, you're targeting the highs. Okay, it's a strategy that works. It's not my favorite strategy, but it does work. And Dylan, one of the coaches inside of our Legends Pro community, is very successful using this trading strategy. So now when I look at this, right, you are now hitting support. Okay, so now the same thing. I want to see, you can use the same strategy. You want to see a 15-minute, preferably a 1 hour or a 15-minute body close below this level, meaning you're losing the area. Okay, your stop goes above the recent high and you're targeting the next area of support to the downside, right? Which are these lows, and you can leave a moonbag open maybe for lower levels if it does come to the daily level. But I can't short right now. Price is not showing me weakness at the moment unless it can close a 5-minute or not a 15-minute candle below, right? Depending on what time frame you trade, right? It could even be a 5-minute body candle close. Okay, that does not show me weakness at the moment. It has to close below support. That is a sign of weakness. So you still have 4 minutes left if you're playing the 5-minute time frame, right? So no, you can short, but I follow my rules from a trading strategy perspective, because often what happens is it jumps back up, it leaves a wick behind, breaks the trend. Okay, I need to, it's just as a trader, I need to follow my rules. If it continues to fall down here, okay, and you ask me, can I short? Well, then it played out, right? But I don't FOMO into trades. Let it play out. I will be looking for a long over here, and follow my trading strategy and follow my rules. Okay, same low stages. Okay, cool. Right, legends, if you mirror USDT with ETH, Mr. Vamp, I would have to go and put that all together. I think I'm going to bore everyone by trying to figure out how to put that all together now. Right. Cool, legends. Thank you so much for joining today's live stream. There's not much else I can share over here at the moment. I appreciate every single one being here. Have yourselves an amazing Tuesday. I think it is Tuesday. I will see you all in the next one. Cheers for now.